Country of 56 ambulance and 200,000 PA. Sick nation. We know vex enough, oh. We know vex enough. We know vex enough, oh. We know vex enough. They insult us so much, I wonder why we know vex. They have pushed our every button, oh, I wonder what is next. Monkey they walk, baboon they chop, baboon they chop. Them no they stop, them no they stop. So them belly pop, but them still they chop. Them go they chop, ooh, all the money, ooh. No development with the money, ooh. No libby, no laba laba. I swear, this time we no go take them yawa. No gangalea, bon bagawaya. I swear, this time they go smell yawa dawa. You say you be food soldier, they follow party matter. They carry oga dirty water. Present in every danger. At the end of this year. 1212 Radio Culture once again. Has it yet become clear that this... Welcome to this special edition of Weekend Editorial. As you will be very much aware, yesterday is when we should have had Weekend Editorial, and we did have Weekend Editorial yesterday with that interview with Dr. John Osai Kwapong on the president's last minute reshuffle. If you think about this thing, your head goes down. Honestly, finish for this country we call. But this is a special edition that is coming on a Sunday. Shine your eye, and it's because something has come up that needs urgent reaction to. Charlie Yagana na Eba Kupeo. What I say, Eba Kupeo. We're not going to sit down and let some people, based on their parochial interest and all kind of warped up stupidity, come and try to mess it up with us with some subliminal messaging. We're not gonna do that. Never. Because Ghana no yenyi na idea. You understand? Enye MPP there, enye NDC there, enye journalist for bogus journalists bia omugube bia omoye only, paid pens, paid microphones. Enye omodia. So we're not gonna sit down and let some people trying to redeem their sick images, coming with some tribal nonsense to come and mash up our country for us. We're not gonna do that. We know vex enough, oh. We know vex enough. We know vex enough, oh. We never vex enough. Ghanaian people, we never vex enough. Where we did there, where we just watch these people just running roughshod over the country like say, wow. No, sir, that must not happen. What am I talking about? I just chanced on this video. Actually, I didn't even see the video itself. I saw a reaction to the video, which prompted me to go watch the actual video. And I'm completely appalled. Completely appalled. Completely appalled. Family, enjoy. We know vex enough. Oh. We know vex enough. We know vex enough. Oh. We never vex enough, Ghana people, because we are just leaving our heritage to be played cha-cha with by some people, the politicians and their clique of paid pens and paid microphones, on what their country need, and we must stand up to those kind of things. Who am I talking about? Okatakyie Afrifa. That guy be one funny guy. One funny brother. Funny guy. Very funny guy. You understand? And all these people, unfortunately, they are the ones who have the microphone. So they sit up over there and pollute the atmosphere with nonsense. And we have to debunk that kind of nonsense. And in a quick minute, we will be talking about that. They chop, them go they chop, all the money, ooh. No development with the money, ooh. I have a piece of audio from that said video. It's quite long, so I wasn't going to play all of it. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. And if anybody wants to go back and go look for that video and get the fullness of it, that's fine. I mean, hey, maybe that's what he wants, right? Hits and likes. So that, the video will trend and do what and whatnot. And hey, if you will watch it, that's fine with me. I'm not recommending you to go watch the video, but I'm saying if you want the fullness of the video, maybe you may decide to go find that video and watch just like I did. Because when I heard the reaction, I was prompted to go check on context, right? Because sometimes certain things are said or couched out of a complete statement, and then the whole meaning of it will be warped. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, right? I have to go check for context. So I did watch the whole entire video, and I was more appalled than I was before I watched that video.
So say you go down your grind, no place, school for this life.
Okatakyie Kwame Afrifa. Let me give you a little bit of reminder about this guy. This is the same guy, Okatakyie Afrifa, who said, say, Oni Hopsina Doyemo, they used to do jandam. If you know, there's that term that courtesy Kevin Taylor, that term has become a household word right now in Ghana. And it was said by this guy. This is the same guy who told us Omoye Bibi a friend jandam, which is simply put what you call it, lying journalism, lying basically, create things that are not true and push it down people's throats and make them true. I mean, make people believe that. That's shameful. This guy shouldn't be on radio to start with. Onya can't say no. Nanka also be who say onye material, onye obia, or a trustworthy, what's he timi a day. You kind of saying Bibia Shannon to start with, right? But this guy's on radio. He has a big microphone, and then he has his own podcast. I think that thing was said on his podcast. Actually, I don't think it was even said on that station that he works with. I think it was said on his podcast. But it is very, 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 very dangerous. A gaslight. And Ghana no se say Bibia ya no Charlie Ghana almost all the countries surrounding us now have had a little bit of civil skirmishes going on there, and we have become an island, an oasis of peace in a region of turmoil. But some people feel that they would want to push us to that point, and that is what this Okatakyie Afrifa guy, his actions, maybe wittingly or unwittingly, that's what that's where it's heading. Because if we decide, say, democracy, right? To me personally, I don't think that is the best form of governance for us, but that's discussion for another day. But it's what we've all signed on to. So if you're going to do that, and then we decide, say, instead of focusing on that, as a unit, as Ghana, as a unit, but instead, we're going to have, you're kind of saying people, basing on their parochial interests to do things like spread tribal sentiment and try to knock people's head against each other. Now, it's very shameful. This is the same Okatakyie Afrifa again, who was part of the Fix the Country, so that Fix the Country thing, the way they were doing, right? And went to go wear the bulletproof and all this kind. I used to actually check this guy, I used to really check him, but they will see Kasa or Kasa to say Bema, full beard, all of that. He has some kind of aura around him, to be honest with you, right? So when I first chanced on him, I used to actually check him. I actually messaged him around the time when they were doing the Fix the Country thing. I sought him out, and I messaged him and I said, hey, I would like to speak with you on my show. And then he was kind of like, he was busy conducting, you're kind of saying, Fix the Country issues at first, so we should postpone the interview, whatnot. The interview never happened. Maybe he checked me out and realized, I wasn't one of those people who were going to kiddy glove him, you understand? But anyhow, that interview never happened. But it's the same guy who was wearing bulletproof. And I remember, that's when I started being like, Akwawe, what's going on there? Right? Because who did he pay him so no more air call? You're kind of saying, what's on Jane, Sabe? Men can't on Jane as an insult. It's an insult be our why, I'm sure. Because some of the things further down the line, it outrages me a lot. But I'm not saying so on Jane as an insult. I'm saying on Jane as a statement of fact. Because this is it. Only nipa air call demonstration. O person catching for so mumbe do with right? As a convener, as a leader, or whatever. Or mumbe do with and call demonstration. That's a wash bulletproof. That's a me need access to bulletproof. So me was campo I mean baby a ton bulletproof. That was Ghana. Right? And so we share bulletproof now see me be do with China me share bulletproof ni bi no. Saying na open so ka me. Because first of all, what share bulletproof, they no say one acknowledges that there's a danger of me being shot or of us being shot at, right? Now they also bulletproof it. So when we are shot at, you will be safe. Now me na me be with you. I don't have no bulletproof. That's when I started figuring this guy out. Said, nah, Kwawe, maybe not. And I was proved so right. Because check this out. Soon after that, his true colors began to show. And now he has kind of confirmed this. He's a died in the woo MPP person to who objectivity means nothing. Right? Okatakyie Afrifa na making. To whom objectivity means nothing. I'm not saying that being an MPP person is bad though. Listen, those days of SK Boafo, those days of Johnny Selby, Apia Menka, that clique of politicians, no, those people were people that we could thump our chest with and say, hey, yes, we trust these people, even if politicians are crooked, to stay within the allowed crookedness and make the country happen. You understand? But these days of Wuntumi and Abronye, right, backed by people like Okatakyie Afrifa, is dangerous. Now check this out. Okatakyie Afrifa had this podcast piece, on his show that he calls For the Record or something like that. And then his topic was that the NDC is a tribal party. Bro, listen, if you are an MPP communicator and you are going out there to go and do your politics and say stuff like that, nobody cares. Oh, nobody cares as long as you identify yourself. What I say? It's like the GMO thing. Yeah, people like to eat GMO, that's fine. But put the GMO tag on it so that those who want to eat the GMO food will go and eat the GMO food. Same thing, yes, sir. You understand? Because if Okatakyie Afrifa, once you identify yourself, say, me, Okatakyie Afrifa, me, you can't say, MPP communicator, no. Na sema obekano ne yina yenim baby asem no o kandeko. Ne ye hu nipa ya wo so mutie sa asem no. Right? Now, the likes of us, no, yeah, mbambi tis as nibi. Because some of us are allergic to bullshit. What I say? So some of us, we say, okay, this is an MPP communicator speaking, so he can say whatever he wants to his people. Hey, talk is free. Yangiska. But say, when you come to try to speak to the rest of us as an objective journalist there, bro, come with the facts. So jandam na wo kano. One can say where you want deal. So jandam na we entino omombetil no betil. Umudamichi. I know you another thing. But what I'm saying is if you are saying something, be objective. And while you are at it, be also, what's the word? Be sensible. And no be unless, like, okay, so what's the end goal? What's the end goal? Because the only end goal I see is you trying to dissuade some Ashanti people from voting for the NDC. And it's bro, it's minim jawoye. Before we go any further, now let's listen to just a short piece of what he said, and then we'll start the reaction. Like I said, I'm not going to play the whole thing, the whole podcast. I can't play his whole podcast on my show, right? But I'm taking just a little bit. Some of the references I will make, we will not necessarily hear the sound bites here. But like I said, if you are interested enough, you can go and check it out for yourself. If not, believe me, I'm representing you. I've listened to it and I was outraged. And you don't need to go listen to it if you don't want to. You understand? Let's listen to this short piece. We'll come back with a reaction.
Dr. Mwakohine ana yi wa musekati the whole aya Ashanti region will be aya Asantini angasa enipa ba kope ana yi wa mo ayi executives no nipa ba kope Dr. Mwakohine wa musekati ndi ayi se Isa beboa ana ayi wa mu communications director Nuridi beboa wa mu youth organizer se Nabil se wan sa the anti-Ashanti agenda of the NDC must stop.
Okay, I'll say the anti-Ashanti agenda of the NDC must stop. Like I said, Kasa as an MPP person, that's Okasa same way.
Obiani uni asem what can asem na oko. But as a journalist, no what can asem we are. What are you standing on to say these things? Let's examine what he is basing on to say stupid nonsense like that. What I say? Because baby, you just to say as Ghana, no. This is not the time to stir the tribal pot. Cry. Baby, you just to say, you know, with a very tense election ahead of us, no. This is not the time to bring in any tribal sentiment, unless, of course, there's an end goal that is beneficial to the country. Now, where is that end goal? Where is that end goal? I don't see it. Like I said, the only end goal I see here is you, Okatakyie Afrifa, Kwame Hwan, he calls himself, you know. Charlie, listen. With them, I'm fairly too off for now, Jerry. It's all right. Rebecca's on the side, Jerry. Okay? I'm fairly too on the side, but we don't need this. Okay, now utie na asem ni na okana. Asem okani na no. Me bone tofa. The upper chain say NDC a party bia they've never fielded an Ashanti candidate. Na other we Ashanti na so NDC ni wa. Ukotwa ukudu baby no mo twitwa wase. No more, you know, they don't let you shine as an Ashanti person in the NDC, and NDC4 no. They benefited from Ashanti mind, but where is their root? Are you serious? Okatakyie Afrifa. Say NDC4, you can say they've benefited from votes from Ashanti mind, right? And no, Ashanti mind now can in the Ashanti region, just or extending it to other places in our chest. We'll come to that. We'll deal with all of that, right? But the Americans say, are you serious, Okatakyie Afrifa? Because Oshepa, under the NDC government, since Jerry Rawlings' time, the Ashanti region, right? Which, even if you say any Ashanti region, Ashanti region forms the bulk of Ashanti mind. There's no question about that, okay? And Ashanti region has benefited from most development projects, more than most other regions, if not more than any other region, save maybe Greater Accra region. Mebua Kacheme, Ashanti mine, and that's Ashanti region. And I will Ashanti mine now, baby. I will go and check the development projects under the NDC. Now, Ukasano, then call the MPP for the juxtaposed. Now, say, MPP for the buy, no more, yes, say, NDC for buy, no more, yes, into Ashanti mine, or move vote. Are you even serious to say some nonsense like that? Also, when you are desperate to you're kind of saying, fulfill your paymasters' whims and caprices, because Sasembi, I know what can now call baby. You're trying too hard, bro. You're trying way too hard. Meaning how much you were given to go on this, crusade. But you're trying too hard. This is what I'm saying. You are selling your reputation for too little, if there's any reputation left. You're trying way too hard for way too little. Listen, NDC, let's look at it properly. Let's look at this. And mind you, I'm not here as an NDC spokesperson. I've never been an NDC person. I don't have a card, but I have brains to tell me, say, between the NDC and the MPP, at this current moment, the MPP is bad news. And to say, you're trying to salvage a sinking ship, right? And as you're trying to revive a dead horse. Good luck with that. But don't do that at the expense of the peace, unity of the country. You came out to do that nonsense. I know I have to let you know that. What did Americana say? Let's look at the thing properly. Sure, NDC, I will say Ashanti for the only two people that contested John Dramani Mahama for the presidency, Ashanti for. Dr. Kwabena Dufo, Oya Santini, Kojobonsu, Oya Santini, Nipa 3, and a contested presidency, The only other people who contested John Dramani Mahama were Ashantis. It's a semen who came. Okatakyie Afrifa. Further down the line, obe try ukuti same hunu na no kekana. Obe try so obe make it a case say they didn't even win because of that same thing. But listen, the NDC had made up its mind. Say John Dramani Mahama had a sterling record that they wanted to run on again. So they were not tolerating or entertaining any other competition in that light. They wanted to fill John Dramani Mahama because they knew, say, he's the candidate they could sell most. But what I'm saying to you is, say, there are so many Ashantis in high repute in the party, say, the only other people, 2 of them, who contested John Dramani Mahama, no, they were both Ashantis. So that bogus point you're making, where does it even go? What should I say? NDC doesn't like Ashanti. NDC doesn't. Where does that even come from? Where does that even come from? The same NDC that gave you, you can't say, all these development projects that can't even start. Afari Hospital. Now it's a women now one people no and person baby no are benefiting for no wa abanya babesi hospital esi wasase so any abanya wa ba so ombia no na won konko you see to the point say nana otumfo na nkasa esriska say ode kwako sese konfa no na mo for akomu no de hin enom pe wasem omdwen. And I'm saying that once more as not an insult, because I would dream you won't make statements like this, brother. Odrian sabi onke kan kwasi asem say. Because like I stated before, NDC, you know, under the NDC, the Ashanti region, which is the bulk of Ashanti Minor Wokan no, has benefited more than almost any other region in Ghana in terms of developmental projects. And to be just say NDC form per Ashanti for Sema. The only thing I say, oh, stir tribal sentiments among the died in the war MPP for. Apart from that, nobody with his head screwed on will listen to nonsense like this and give it any credence. What I say? Straight up. What's the PNDC for? What's the Crontia Ashanti for MP NDC? Then they say PNDC came and brutalized them and did whatnot and watch him address and whatnot. Brother, listen. PNDC's thing that they did was not targeted at Ashanti region by any stretch of your imagination. Open up your mind. Educate yourself. Ask people in the central region what they were going through. Under the PNDC, when the soldiers went amok and started brutalizing people left, right, center, in the midst of the revolution, when the Kalabule stores were being shut down and women were being harassed and all these things were happening. It wasn't just in the Ashanti region. Central region had its share of that. I was a little boy, but I saw some of it in the central region. Dare you? How dare you? We never vex enough where they make people like this control the narrative. Ghana is a place the people keep quiet and let idiots like this control the narrative. And that's why Ghana is the way it is. That's why we end up with the leaders that we get. Because we let people like this control the narrative. That must change. Okay, Teacher Afrifa, also the tribal whatever in the NDC must stop. You know what must stop? Your propagandist nonsense is what must stop. And it's going to stop. Say NDC left a bad taste, PNDC left a bad taste in the mouth of you can't say Ashanti for 18 or more on one PNDC, Okay, how about the other regions? No to the young fannies I said nothing Ashanti for one pay we say and it's a one pair, that's all more mobile pay aqua pair. Then what is your business coming to tell them say the Ashanti sentiment and anti-Ashanti whatever must stop? Because after all, one person now come and say, and your party, you are kono. And to say, I didn't know what kono. I didn't know what John say. Oh, quack fight for it into no BBU. What Sakwa we want to know could in the Chaco Canquas. One thing you know, case all matching the logic now. No one can question them because that's why we can name should be now. The other point he was making is the MPP is not. When America know he can't hide. He cannot hide. It's up to some point, no, his real motive has to come out. And he was there saying, say, the MPP, no, rather has fielded, you're kind of saying, Ali Mahama. Kufuor fielded Ali Mahama from the north, and Akufo-Addo fielded Bawumia from the north. So that is more, that shows more inclusivity in the NPP. Brother, T, Nyansa, una wo simbia na wo kan say ha na Nyansa wo me obwa. Obwa, Nyansa na ni wo ho. Obwa da. Nyansa bia ni wo ho. So Nyansa no wo ho dia now dia share trunk mo lock no and no be gina bonte na wo kekan kwasi asem because we asema ka ni Nyansa bia enim. What I say? Said nothness, whatever. Listen, who patronizing nothness? So who nim Nyansa, some who can say now can you know is patronizing to nothness. And this is the kind of nonsense that has to stop. Okatakyie Afrifa. Because to some of you, know, Ghana yamodia and a nothness no eyenkophobia move or ye okay then till the money chance. Jimmy no asem na wo kan no John Dramani Mahama is from the north. He is in the main seat. And you are going to compare that to somebody who's the vice president. What wants to make us a dancer be a new ho? A new hobby baby. We say MPP a more accommodating, whatever the word is, because Kufuor affiliated Ali Mahama as vice president. Akufo-Addo affiliated you can't saying Bawumia didn't crampo kokotite baby. Bawumia as vice president, Intino. What about the NDC now? Omo Arani John Mahama as the president, not a vice president. He was first a vice president and then became a president. What about the NDC that has fielded people like all these other northern candidates, including times that they didn't win? When Atamels fielded Martin Amidu and all these people who came in. I mean, all these people have been through the system and they didn't win, but at least the party fielded them. Now, Mami Bisa was Okatakyie Afrifa. Ujana Wokan Northness, any Ashanti Force. But what about the other tribes in Ghana there? What about Ebonofo? What about Nzimafo? Almost export Wayne. So John say NDC and Ashanti vice presidential candidate Dantino. But what about Nzimafo? NDC affiliate Nzimani vice president candidate da. Konkensen Yaka maybe. No Nzimani ana menkai bibisa. Right? But what about Bonofo? What about and not Nekrana Wokano? You are an educated person. Oko not on any one tribe pen wo. Tribes ne dos wo honum. It is a Jamahama Figonja. What about the Sisala people? What about the Wale people? Even within the central region, Kramopo America, so Fantifo and MPP, NDC for now, and Fantifo, and Fantifo, within the central region, you will go more for, you will a scene for, you will a Bob Takradifon, you will, you can say, so many different subgroups. It's what John say, yeah, Ma Asantini, you can say, slot by force, no. What about the other tribes? What do you mean, sir? You should not be controlling the narrative. Go do your foot soldier work and stop doing stop being like you're a journalist or a broadcaster, whatever it is you call yourself. You belong in the phone booth where the serial callers make their calls. That's where you belong. Go there and go make these kind of nonsense remarks on your tribally oriented radio stations and stop disturbing our ears. In some way, initial info, and then what we say, this is a strategy, right? uti nsem na okanina na ofa asem bi a esi. No, we created some conspiracy theory be around it, not that connected that tribal we say. And I'll give you some few examples. For instance, Osinana Kunedu, who is an Ashanti, who controlled the NDC for so many years, or say Ashanti for NDC plus Ashanti for Asem. Yet Nana Kunedu, some people say even more than Jerry Rawlings himself, was controlling the party for a very long time. That time, the NDC for Ashanti for Semana. When the first lady, who was practically the authority in the party, was running affairs. Now Asante for any NDC for in terms of something saying. Right? And then after Yakani saying Nana Kunedu no say NDC for and then Omuji ni Sinche. Listen, at that time, I was big enough. I was following politics. I understand exactly what was going on. The NDC realized, say, Jerry Rawlings had been in charge of this party since its creation. Now, it looked as if he wanted to hand over to his wife and create some type of hegemony they didn't want. So for that not to happen, they needed somebody who was not a Rawlings to come in and make the party appear as if it was an all-inclusive party, not Jerry Rawlings' property. And I laud them for that. This is why they made away with Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings. And I completely supported that. Because what the heck? Jerry Rawlings had been head of state for so many years. And then president for so many other years. 19 years, almost 20 years. No Sababe hand over to Nigeria. What is that same way be that? Which is why the NDC said, no, let's bring somebody else, and they brought Professor Mills, overwhelmingly, the same way they did with John Mahama. And now, what first asked them, whiskey, they say, oh, and now, yeah, no more born a tone chain with Jimmy. When I say insults, neighbor, no, I don't want to insult, really. I want to stick with the facts. I want us to look at the facts. I want us to look at everything you said and demolish it without emotion. But you can't help some emotion creeping in at some point, because when somebody speaks to you in these kind of tones, so be kasachon as a asma okano or as a person just with Jimmy. Sometimes the only other response is to let them know, say, no, wouldn't with Jimmy. So we set the record straight, and you don't come back to me with nonsense like that anymore. Because ufa sa clear instance say unto Okatakyie Afrifa catch me. Na ka wo pese uche say anka after 19 years of the Rawlings you can say rule no. And can sign Emma Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings and Sam Brambeye the next potential president. Honestly, soon run it another 4 or 8 years and 19 years no. Sana upacha na. Maybe so. It's a question I'm putting to you. If you put it out, put out your answer, right? Then you know who say okay, say na wo patche, and say na wo patche there. Then you know who say okay, padi na small kenyi. Into yen funny yen shon ho asem na yen ka. Otherwise no, akwa question sabi and na wo ka. Yes, so your hene. Apologies to your constituent. I mean your kind of saying omukra for be from saying. Whoever it is that you are chief over. Apologies to them, but they don't have a very smart person for a chief. And I said they have a devious person for a chief. Because sometimes I hear me say, and yes, I won't get smart, but we devious. Then wow kind we a jandam. Mobile Quatina radio, so no say, John Mahama was done with Dubai. John Mahama touch ship. Then the Moya Quatina mimos. Now don't be sorry, mimos. Makotina mimos, namosre. Then the country suffers because of your stupid lies. Because we yes, I didn't mean the small sequel. Won't sorry in concord nothing yes, I didn't for nothing. Obi never catch us a corner quest I did with mammy. Okay? It's only panel small sequel yes, I didn't know. Any and walk it to your demand, no, at the cost of the rest of the country suffering because of that stupid lie that you went to go tell. So we cannot sit down and have you go down that same tangent again. We're not gonna do that. I've already told you several times. What did I say? Also say Kojo Bonsu, who has risen to the point where he is running for he's looking to run for president. And that's one really smart guy. Once he's positioned himself in such a way, say, he wasn't really contesting John Mahama. He was making an appearance. So Kojo Bonsu is in position to be one of the leading candidates to lead the NDC after John Mahama. Oya Santini. Oya Santini. And I would down and say, then NDC for running Kojo Bonsu out. Between Wuwu and PP, no, any Ashanti Man Council, with all due respect. But let's state the fact. Who ran down Kojo Bonsu? Kojo Bonsu was one of the finest mayors of the city of Kumasi. Gave you Rattray Park and some other projects. Now Rattray Park now so you have some Kojo Bonsu. Kojo Rattray need the one year they change the Rattray no. Rattray no. I don't know. And this is when you come back into power, please change it. Rattray saying, ahemfo akese betwem ewo Ghana nyina ewo asanteman mu nyina, including ahemfo mutimi de omokra omo enkwa etwa asoma asanteman omo wo honom ye de ponko akosi run about and ye parks so your friend Rattray. No sir, let's change that, right? But back on topic, Kojo Bonsu a asanteman council drag no say wakwako kan sembi enunti all kinds of things had to happen between them. Any NDC no why and all do damage to Kojo Bonsu. How dare you Ababejano say why na Kojo Bonsu? And I make an message, no, it is meant for who is meant for. Ashantifo nankasa na omo wo ho no. Jomo de ye Kojo Bonsu versus their party no e de ye Kojo Bonsu. So if anything, state it clearly. Say DN and NDC they Kojo Bonsu are wrong versus their mayor Wahodom and their chiefs no and some other people. A diomodi no because almost what can't send be. According to you, we say Debunking ye can say Asantini because baby of Ofino say kwa hono a honina Asanti my enka ho ye begya tum sa ye begya tum pa sa because Asanteman bigger than Ashanti region. Everybody knows this. Okay, until I listened to you and I didn't know say Saikwa a part of Ashanti region, but ye begya tum pa ye begya tum. Let me ask you this: Ebani saying and a party no nipa or ye the number what the highest authority in the party, the chairman. Since some elections, no, the presidential candidate is the head of the party. Once that's over, no, the highest office in the party is the chairman of the party. Now, chairman, no, usi Oya Santini. It's not just a wine and an empire Santifo within the NDC. No, catch me. A dreaming Nejuma. And sometimes I can certain thing. This is why my show is not a daily show. Because sometimes issues need to be hold my bar. I need time to think about it. I need time to research it, find things out, fine-tune things, get other angles before you speak. Now, just sorry, I know better now. There's a responsibility for them to speak. So I'll train my Knisi wa no kasa. Because I send me a befin in Nuamba Babia na man for I ingest it no more. I said Okatakyie or the chairman of the party, no, or not a controlling party in affairs, so right? I said Okatakyie a controlling party in affairs. One kasa wa jatum say officer kwa say kwa hono eye Asante man. Enti say dia na one kasa kwa osanka osa said Okatakyie Asantini. And now this some nonsense be better to say e do so kwa vice president e behwe masa. If I said Okatakyie decides to run for president, nobody is going to stand in his way in the NDC, knowing the achievements of that man. Nobody is going to stand in his way. If he so decides. But you're fair non tunchen because that's just conjecturing, just like you were conjecturing. Says or decided so people will stand in his way. I don't even know what you're talking about. Because I said Okatakyie or no the highest authority in the NDC. And to say NDC for MP Asantifo Sema, when asem na working, because first of all, obon person for asem eba ni saying and Asantini ebe ye chairman of the party, and secondly, obi oye chairman no, ono akasa ene ne nkofo ene obon pe ono ani tribe for na asem no ana sa na wo pa kira na Okatakyie Afrifa. Adwini nye dwuma. Adwini no akakakra. Yes, send this on the audio nibio because I want to zero in on that, right? Yes, send this on the audio nibio. We'll be right back.
Dr. Mwakohine ana yewa musekati the whole Ashanti region will be a Asantini angasa edipa bakope ana yewa executives no dipa bakope Dr. Mwakohine wa musekati ndi Isa bebwa ana wa mu communications director Nuridi bebwa wa mu youth organizer se Nabil se wan sa wa mu nyina da the anti-Ashanti agenda of the NDC must stop.
No, it's your bullshit that must stop, brother. It's your nonsense that must stop. It's your self-confessed gendarme that must stop. Because what the Ghana for doing diagro. What the Ghana for doing diagro. Only the other guy, no, that's something by name to me. Person me boni didn't be distracted. I also say your bell line up very soon. Pocket lawyers, pocket professors. Boko kind 1-2 book bia. Enon kwa yanko kwa. This nonsense must stop. Because you are pitching people against each other, and that's dangerous for the season that we are in. Abaya yekotui. Charlie, and you do or die, you. John Mahama can't over say, then. But then you retreat, it's do or die. Because the MPP has plundered Ghana and they want to put Baumia in place so that they can cover up that and continue to plunder Ghana. And that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Break the 8 now, Mokekano. Since I break the 8 nearby at the time, I'm going to say, be a John Kufo, a Yene Juma or Kono, say, break the 8. You could have had something to stand on, say, okay, you break it some 8B. Now, Mwakasa mo nipa nakasa na ono the head of the government, like Akufo-Addo nakasa no, Ajatun say, we're messing up country, no, and the next president will come and fix it. And now you're telling us that you want to break some 8 with Baumia. It's not going to happen until do or die. Until when you start throwing these kind of sentiments in there now, you're making it more explosive. You're making it more explosive, and that's why some of us feel the urgency to step in. That's why instead of playing reggae music this morning, I'm here reacting to this. Because this slot is really the slot on Radio Culture for GH, you can't say reggae reverbs. Reggae reverbs. Fortunately, we hadn't booked a guest. We're going to just play music. So we decided, I said, nah, let's come back and react to this quickly. Because if we wait a whole week, you know. So that's why we are reacting to your Okatakyie Afrifa. Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense, cry. What I say? No, Akofa we be a you see, and like I was saying, you know, of instance be no creative way be a found or see PV or being and a PV or being yeah one I didn't. Where is your proof of that? Where is your proof of that? And this is for now, so can be. You don't respond to things. And to be a tear normal fan say yeah true neko. You have way too many communicators not to be responding to these type of people. Some of the normal are more responding to than necessary. These are some of the things you should be responding to. This is some of the things you should be responding to. with all them droves of communicators now more no. Anya also be within that constituency no one a communicator within Ebano or responding to Sadia way. And thankfully, I think somebody did actually. That's actually the reaction that I saw that led me to the actual video. One young man in Kumasi, I'm sorry, I should have written it down. I think he's an executive in the Ashanti region. Nana Kwesi, sit up. Sit up, Nana Kwesi. You're my brother. Telling you, sit up. What I say? But this young man reacted very nicely to it. Very, very nicely. So I can't completely be on the NDC's case like that. They are responding to these type of things. Because to be honest with you, like I said, I know crana me who ye ma me share the main video no reaction no and I who ye ma me share main video no right. So we can now uti asem na oka we say mu na or say you can say and when we say one more time or patronizing notness or say Nana Kwesi, who is the chairman of the party, no Fantini, but Oya Kanin to the Nyashe. Wow, it's the same way. Radio, so this is why sometimes free speech is a bad idea. This is exactly why free speech is sometimes a bad idea. Because you agree that people can say whatever they want, and then you get this. Or say, Nana Kwesi eye Fantini into no de ombe consider ne say o de anya hwe or ya Santini into de be fan ombe consider when we say in nadwene no Okatakyie Afrifa no te onum nadwene no in ono saa ne tina ye saa nadwene no eye Ashantifo ena omo ye de be all in all and then everything else plots in o ye Fantini but o de anya hwe ye be je watum saa because also ya o ya kanni meka me say na so also can say me say another me de ye nyina ye beti ye ho asentimu de nya hwe we ye the couple ye the way couple say adenti na ye wo I Fantini town wo Kumasi na eni Ashanti new town wo bebia aden ye wo we wa asasem we ye the kansem. How many cities do you know in Kumasi in Ghana? Ye cosmopolitan. Et say you can say. Et say Kumasi. How many? How many? And then also cry them all say drink say Kumasi hono. And ya Santifon kwan e wo ho. Aha. And say who a secretary, a friend Abbas. Na so who general youth organizer, a friend in Abel. Na who another one a friend Yusuf. Or Munina was Santimemu hobby. They are Ghanaians. They can live there without you having not a damn thing to say to them. How dare you? How dare you? Sakwa we are and a cotton say a Santifon Combetra Doma Hiniti no Kwasia wo ukocho bi hiniti wo ti wei wo so your hini o enti so bi so kaso no so betwa wo susu tie sakwa we are wo say okase sasem ne ba no I said it I said otumfo me papa otumfo from when otumfo became king no Otumfo may not know me as a person, but that's how it works. I remember my encounter with him. The first two times I encountered him, and certain things happened. I don't want to digress, but certain things happened that have made me have some sort of respect for Otumfo. It's almost non-negotiable, right? So when issues come up, which becomes a bantana, sometimes I just want to stay back. So that assembly in Domani Asante Wanwane, I didn't say anything about it. Also because I don't know enough history to authoritatively speak on the matter. So I just stayed back. The only thing I said on it is say, Okatakyie Afrifa is an idiot for that comment that he made about some Domani Hinitino. Nanka wonso so nka utina yesa no so Ye twa doma hini ti a na ka wonso so a wote ono so tie. Sem hunu nkwa. Ensem hunu nkwa. Osi ye fro obi, ye fro organizer Nabil, ye fro obi Yusuf, ye fro obi Abudu. Hwa enti wonti ase. Meanwhile, one class wa jatum se Kumasi na mote no, ye wa Ashanti New Town, ye wa Fanti New Town, ye wa Angunaga, ye wa hwa nyina wo ho. And say we a whole community of another tribe be omote honom. I know your community, not to speak of the other people who are spread around in the other communities, no. Then why are you surprised? Kumasi any big sabuzongo wo ho. Oko aboa. Enye ye nuanom northerness na wo ho. Nima, Sawaba. Akwetia la ho nyina enye ye nuamo northerness na gu ho. Na yankai wo history ana. Na wo otumfo na kasa bi na no kai se o de hoho na chichire man no na wo wonte ase e wo sase no mu no etisen. Na se de hoho na chichire man na se de sa hoho na so so e wo right to vote. Na so more arising in the party to become executives of the party. Wo how ne saying? Jimmy. And akobi Ashanti ni nti no obi se na Bella ye adwuma, Yusuf aye adwuma, Abudu aye adwuma na se o deserve sport na. Essence on your Ashanti nti yenjai ne fa nkonkoma ya wajiman just because of your Ashanti Jimmy. You people water down the narrative. You people are the reason why the Ghanaian mindset is where it's at. No apology, I'm talking about that. Go and check the IQ index. And come back and tell me say the American me did Ghana for temana. Yeah, IQ is problematic because we are the logic that we base on to form our decisions is wobbly. It's wobbly. I saw some post on Facebook or was it Twitter recently. People say X. Me, I'm old school. I still call it Twitter. I'm never going to stop calling it Twitter. X, you can go X yourself. I'm just saying, right? Me who some supposed to be, I say, the reason why people do, I wish I could find it and quote it for you right now. I'll find it and quote it for you because I don't want to misquote that thing. But really, basically, they kind of say the reason why some people's opinions are faulty. They say people form opinions based on the wrong information, wrong logic, and that is where people like Okatakyie Afrifa leaders. And we have nonsense arguments, and then we pick it up and run with it if nobody comes to push back. Nti what we issue say your friend omo original hwan Abbas your friend obi say no Okatakyie Afrifa Jimmy unim say your obi be friend Ashanti Kremo unim say ade no unim Ashanti Kremo unim the friend Tuba unim ade kro ma men sure say unim Ashanti Kremo no ya nipa even in the central region back in the day growing up I saw these people among the Gomwa people and all that. Islam no a lot of Southerners have embraced. Ashanti for I embrace Islam. So they have something called Ashanti Kremo, which is Ashanti people, or sometimes not Ashanti but just Southerners basically, right? Who are Muslims. It is or Asantini, that's what koko ye Muslima. Obetimi friend who Abudu, Nabil, Yusuf. Who nim sa nyansa no. Mamen cho tuba ne so ase. Tuba ne say emfa ne say bema bi we sure ba bi no fe. Da gomba ni ba no fe for no watch a nice one. Onim tuza fi ye onim monwa, onim bibia ye. Ne fe. No decide so be worry no to the point say the family say okay, we be worry ni their cho be Muslim. No we tuba kwa Muslim. Otimi tuba e change ni din. Now to be honest with you, any man quanting and for tuba, I'm for tuba for all different type of reasons. Or tuba we are bet me changing the din. One of the examples how mine is also Betty Moldy Idrisu. Eye Asantini or Asantini, then the same name the same Idrisu. Okatakyie Afrifa. Mama yen dogana kakrao. Mama yema Ghana enye first in everything that we do. Because one kasana ujina ho say fix the country and when then your mining koye ni there but catch me say since then no miner koye ntia I was here Sunday on mine no MPP in sembio ne hu se wo kanya asem bi akire na since then no won't mean chain say time I wo kokoshe bulletproof say okwa fix the country no ebesi and then no things have been changed yet you are here doing propaganda for the MPP that is all you diabolic. We're diabolic, we're devious. Okay, Teacher. One can ye. What I say? One can ye. One can ye. And it's how nonsense journalism now, oh, you know. That style of journalism, me nim baby a no. Me nim ni din. Me oh okay, me nim ni din. Your friend Jandam. Your friend Jandam. That's what it is. One now catch rain. Some go keka mon kwasi asem ni wianu makotina baby na mo sre. Because ma ka Ghana fo ti abom. Sakwa we nanka say Ghana fo ye enisi ya manu space kra. To the point say say manu platform or Ashanti so keka kwasi asem bi obi ono anka sabe ka che nze me na me kotina radio so twantro kire mo. Me wianu makotina baby na me rinsa na me sre. Owi ya sama ne mic e na osan kasa ene ye san tie ni bio ene ye san so di ne chi bio. Because your IQ no bibi kakra wo ho a you should know where I'm coming from. Because nipa we na kanya de wasi di nechi e believe bibi obeka bia or say Peter Boama otoku no the reason why you do otoku no aka ni din ho ne say or ya santini but when him say o yi nanim so ya santini a people will fight him within the party until no do otoku no na koka ni di we ye jimisem to the extreme. We ye jimisem to the extreme. I can't hold it back. We am kwasiasem to the extreme. Let me tell you why. Number one, Peter Boama Otokuno, to the best of my knowledge, on changing the dean at any point in his life. If I'm wrong, tell me. But as far as I'm concerned, from the time that, unless you are telling me, say, before Otokuno Ebeko School, Anna Bibiano, no onim so beba joining NDC, which was going to fight Ashanti for, into no mame from Otokuno. Sa na me ba bedu ho no ma obi an fight me. O kan sanso now sanso person chance NDC for mpanyi for no they are so daft say they don't know say Otokuno oya Asantini and he's been able to fool the whole party with the name Otokuno. Wa kwa sesem say ye dey call him fa. Jimmy Sem say or Afrifa ye kan wo hin adien dem. Men yes sir. What in Ghana for no? Yakwa to say some of us we don't want to speak. Some of us have made it like politics now, no. Some way so we don't want to get involved with it and stuff like that. You know, some of us have decided say and yes, the other time I was interviewing one of these politicians. And he was like, oh, no, you don't understand because you're not a politician. Screw that. Me and you went to the same school. I could have decided to be disingenuous and become a politician. I'm a journalist. I'm going to put your feet to the fire. That's my job. Okatakyie, that should be your job. Find the real issues. NDC no more saints. Or more issues. Heavy issues. That you should find and hold your feet to the fire. Not go and stir the tribal pot the way you are doing. That's some nonsense. Should not be doing that. In summary, I'm about to go. In summary, no, all I'm saying is number one, Okatakyie Free First posturing when it comes to partisan politics, no, is dangerous. Ghana people, let's be wary of people like that. Omokasa yem fano in a context that you can say mami can say one say obi timi be chawade right obi timi be chawade bi o value ade nipa wow ade we oh Charlie this painting nice so na me the painting ako hangi wo my living room and my office and my studio and bibisa obi so timi be chami ade bi oh thank you very much na me the koto store room Men can say you magic, but at the storeroom. And he said, okay, to Afrifa, me and stopping him from speaking because they're a free country. He has his right to speak. He can say whatever he wants. But yen and a responsibility say ye dia semna or bekano ye be hanging over your living room and I said the bekwa to storeroom. That's what has to happen. Nipa Sanu, they shouldn't have an influence on the upcoming election because they are not real. They are disingenuous. We should be worried of them. And number 2 is that NDC, it's not true that it's a tribalist party. If it's a tribalist party, I don't know. But based on what you have told me, based on all those things that you raised, it's nonsense. Because the NDC is the first party that fielded a northern candidate for a presidential slot. The number 1, the top job in the country was given to a northerner. The whole party says overwhelmingly too. It decided to say, "Bema northerner edienim." And at moment people no say, "Oh, Alu Mahama, anybody umia, mumbedi yechi." Na yemfa mon kope votes. And to compare how 2 scenarios now, catch them in the pakro pay Ashanti for them. Nafe, and no crampo nyeshiyo, because I know you're just giving a job to one person. But yen share in terms of development, and no make no. Central region now who claim say a kofa one fee and a kofa Tamil fee and a kofa emisata and one fee. Central region where the end there Central region is one of the poorest regions in Ghana. Prove me wrong. San 24 we are and no D vice president or mo signing on and me debate say Kumase no. Ye debe see a market. Kejita market, you did see a ferry hospital, you did refurbish airport, you did see e-blocks, you did see chip compounds, you did see all those things that are in the Ashanti region. San 24 we are, and I know we are vice president, and Moses Sanya, you be and wo. I am Kwankwayen or Mankesim, and Yan Kwankwayen was seen for suit. And Yan Kwayen was Guna Swedru. And Natakrade. Mokasa no margin hokakra. Okay, that's it for me. I don't think there's anything that needs to be said that hasn't been said. Okatakyie, bare knuckles. What you say? Next time I will trim Mike Bia, see with him say Okasa. Making sure that I can hear because one can hear. We are here for you. The other one, Mr. Sono, may not send sometime soon. Wo yes wo nim hu bi say ye do bi enkwatwa so e na Akufo-Addo be president. What ho bi anka hwenkyere ye benya ho time e beba wo so. Time na nyanso. But that's it. Thank you very much for doing the listening. My name is Kwesi, a son Bakon. This is Radio Culture. Radio Culture. But before I go, Maminya, one quick appeal, please. Please go and download the app. Okay? We know, say you've been doing us good, watching, you listening to us on the website www.ghnewsnow.com. Some of you are listening to us on modernghana.com. Some of you are on the other platforms. But we want to centralize our activities on the app. Okay? There's nothing wrong with using all these other platforms. Modernghana.com is great. Use it. GH News Now, that's our mother platform. So by all means, use it. Even the app is connected to that. So definitely use it. But the app makes it a lot more simpler for you to use, right? Once you have the app, and all you have to do is to tap and then you're on. So please, go and download the app. It's called Radio Culture. Culture is spelled Kulcha on the Google Play Store. We're still working on the iOS version. But if you're on iOS, you can also catch us on Matuna Radio, right? So if you download Matuna Radio, you can also catch Radio Culture on there. We have our Studio 2 in Mampontein, Kumase, and we have full programming. So please, download the app and let's all do this together. Like I said once more, my name Kwesi Eson Bako. I come in peace, I come not to please. I'll see you next week, God willing. If no nonsense like what just happened again, where we have to come in with a special edition, you see us on Saturday. In the meantime, stick and stay. We have the top 10 GH Reggae Dancehall show following this one. Thank you for doing the watching and listening. One love every time.
Up in time, oh my way. Shine your eye, oh. So say you go down your grind, oh. No place, school for this life. Oh yeah, say we.
Isi kana modern kwala. Wabra sukunya kwala te forma wunya kunya. Afi ya twati ye ni akoma mo be say your work say we ne mo pena fo akoda. Never. Na se kasi mu twini free ana me boa. Es gracia wa yonko waje wa moa. E kwan ni ne ya kan go matiatra bubu nua goma so mo man no na ne a bibisa kebi mami kebi ye adwuma. Omo yeti mu kan kura ni ye gu adwuma. Bibisa tipeni fuwe wo mo wotema. Na die mu apa no mo hodi jejima. Ni bi mo temo to na mo hwe ni e boso. Ni dia fo boso. E fi e mo chance. Ono na boso. E ni dia boso. Keta shisha prayer. O mine boso.
We know vex enough, oh. We know vex enough.